This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Gooder and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, January the 13th, is a legendary NHL figure. I know that this guy, well, this is the guy behind this trophy. And I know the guy died in 1964, but I couldn't find anything for January the 13th other than him. So, I had to go with him. So, this is the Art Ross Trophy. And let me tell you about the man named Art Ross. He was a star player. Yeah, he was born January 13th, 1885, and all that. Anyway, it didn't matter. Anyway, Ross would know both English and French because of his family. And, they were up in Fort St. John, trading post, and all that. But anyway, they moved to Montreal. And he was good with hockey and football. And played organized hockey by 1900. He actually met the brothers Lester and Frank Patrick, who were also great, legendary executives with their all that. Art and Lester Patrick would actually have a ticket resale business at the Montreal Arena, buying tickets for 35 cents and then selling them for up to $1. Anyway, Art Ross played for Brandon in the Senior Hockey League in 1907. At the time, Kenora, a small northwestern Ontario town who ended up playing in the Manitoba League for some reason, wanted to strengthen their team for the Stanley Cup Challenge against the Montreal Wanderers in 1907 in Montreal. Now here's the thing though. Back in the 1900s, the Stanley Cup was more of a challenge trophy, quote unquote. That, a team would win the trophy and then other teams could challenge for it. And all that. And remember, the Stanley Cup was just that bold. All that. And sometimes teams would pluck players from other teams to be like wingers. So that's what they did. They paid Ross $1,000, and in 1907, that's not chump change. Anyway, Ecuador won the Stanley Cup, so he did it. Strange as it sounds, the Montreal fans actually gave him a standing ovation. Ross would not play for Kenora when they were challenged by the Wanderers, and the Wanderers took their cup back. So he went back to Montreal to join the Wanderers, the team he helped to defeat, and helped the Wanderers retain the cup from challenges by Ottawa, Winnipeg, and Toronto. So Ross ended up becoming the second player in history to win the Stanley Cup with different teams, Kenora and the Wanderers. Anyway, despite playing for the Wanderers, Ross still had to practice for play for other teams to pay for his services. Ross demanded a $1,600 salary in 1909, which is fine as that, but the average salary at the time was $600. So yeah, it was weird and all that. Ross would become a player manager for Haley Berry of the National Hockey Association. Anyway, and then he moved back to the Wanderers. All that. Ross was great for the Wanderers and all that. But Ross wanted more money and all that. It didn't work out that way. So, anyway. Ross wanted to form a new league that would offer higher wages. A little bit. Shake your head. So the Wanderers were gone. Then he would join with Ottawa. Excuse me. Anyway. Ottawa won that series, so he helped the Ottawa team win the Stanley Cup, which was amazing. He got it. In fact, Ross actually created a new system of defense. It, would, it required three defenders to align themselves across the ice 30 feet in front of the goalie to stop offensive rushes. It'd be kind of called the neutral zone trap, as it is nowadays. So yeah, so he made $1,400 a year, only $100 less than Frank Neighbor. But anyway, he still left the team going to Montreal, rejoining the Wanderers. Ross actually was head coach of the Montreal Wanderers, a player coach, in fact, and actually played in the NHL in 1917 with them. And they won the game 10-9 over Toronto. Ross would actually get the first NHL penalty, and he scored his first goal. Unfortunately, he, like many of his Wanderers teammates, were victimized by the fire in 1918 that made him fold after 4 games. Ross would retire as a player and become a manager and all that. So anyway, he became the referee for the NHL and then was hired to coach Hamilton for the 1922-1923 season. But they were 6-18, and Ross did not return. So he wasn't doing that well. But Boston saw something in Art Ross. And so Boston grocery store magnate Charles Adams said that Ross had the skills and could manage the team. So, of course, Boston got the expansion team. And Adams' first move was to give Ross the vice presidency, general manager, coach, and scout position. And wanted Ross to come up with a nickname. And Ross named the team the Boston Bruins. It worked well with the brown and yellow colors. So Boston started out poorly, in fact. They actually lost 11 straight, which was a Bruins record till 2004. Still, anyway, Ross helped Boston do better. And then when the Western Hockey League folded in 1926, they could get players. So Ross picked up some players, including Eddie Shore, who would be a Hall of Famer and a pain in the ass to a lot of people. He would also pick up Tiny Thompson, which was a big move, making him a good goalie. Cootie Whalen came around. So Identity was moved to Boston. And of course, Art Ross helped. That team helped Boston win 38 of a possible 44 games in the 1929-30 season, which was a high winning percentage of 875. It was so huge that that's still the record. Not even the 1977 Habitants or the 1996 Red Wings had that winning percentage. They did their job. Unfortunately, they lost the Stanley Cup in 1932 to the Habitants. Anyway, Ross would still be around Boston for many years in the 1930s. He would sign 3 players, Milt Schmidt, Bobby Bauer, and Woody Dumart. Called him the Kraut line because of the German heritage. But you know what else was big about that team? Those 3 players? Yes, they come from my hometown, Kitchener. Anyhow, Ross would actually acquire a new goalie, Frank Brumsack, to replace Tiny Thompson, who he thought was losing his touch. And it worked. Brumsack was Mr. Cyril. He got 6 shutouts in a 7-game span. Boston would win the cup a couple times under Ross's watch. Unfortunately, in 1941, it was the last time they won the cup for 29 years. But yeah, Ross was around for Boston. He really liked Boston. He had this legacy. He actually created a new style goal net. The back being in that V shape. It was better designed to catch pucks. And all of that. And then that was used until 1984 when they modified it. He improved the design of the puck. making it having bevel edges and synthetic rubber. He created the red line, which was to, you know, remove the ability for defenders to pass the puck from the defensive to offensive zone. The two-line pass, of course, until 2006, it was not allowed to do that. And Ross actually said he wanted the red line to be striped because, tell the red line and blue lines apart on TV because it's still black and white. Anyway, he would donate the Art Ross Trophy to the NHL in 1947 to be awarded to the leading scorer in the regular season. So, yeah, Ross became a naturalized American citizen in 1938, and he died in a nursing home in Medford, Massachusetts at the age of 79. So Art Ross's career is good. His coaching career was amazing. 394 wins as a coach, winning 2 Stanley Cups, the 1929 and the 1939 Cups, as head coach. In the playoffs, it was 32, 33, and 5 when ties were allowed because of 2-game total points. Art Ross's legacy is better than you all think. And better what I think, too, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm Jan13, and I do